my pleasure to give this goodwill message on behalf of the National Coordinator, National Cybersecurity Coordination Center, on the occasion of this book launch on cybercrime, digital forensics readiness, and financial crime investigation in Nigeria. I thank you and salute the authors for their commitment and continuous efforts towards ensuring the objectives of cyber awareness, cybersecurity, and digital forensics. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, we are at a time in history where cyberspace has become critical to the affairs of peace, security, and economic transformation across the globe. Nigeria, like several other countries, has largely transitioned from the traditional methods to a system based predominantly on information and communication technology. This new digital era presents significant opportunities to enhance Nigeria's readiness for global economic competitiveness. However, the digital revolution has profound implications for our litigation processes and national security. To this end, cybercrime, digital readiness, and financial crime investigation has become necessary for education purposes and to mitigate the challenges in our litigation processes. This is due to the growing reliance on online platforms as a medium to lure vulnerable victims for the purpose of crime globally. Furthermore, the most predominant challenge to investigation is the handling of digital evidence to expedite investigation and prosecution accordingly. Thus, this calls for more deliberate steps in building capacity in the professional handling and investigation of digital evidence, which this book stands to achieve. Also, the promulgation of the Cybercrimes Prohibition Prevention Act of 2015 codified illegal activities conducted in the cyberspace. To this end, the Office of the National Security Advisor made conscious efforts to implement this act and support every capacity building effort in this regard. I must commend the authors for taking this journey to educate the populace and driving cybersecurity policy and strategy as provided by the Act. This book is indeed aimed at enhancing cybersecurity activities, digital forensics, and cyber penetration in Nigeria. Basically, it covers some key objectives of the national cybersecurity policy and strategy. Let me also use this opportunity to thank every stakeholder here for this collaboration to make this event a reality. Rest assured, this is in line with the implementation action plan of the National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy. I wish to thank the authors once again for this noble effort. It is hoped that everyone who comes across this book will utilize the skills therein to the benefit of Nigeria and the overall objective of the safe usage of the cyberspace and professional handling of digital evidence. Once again, thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. I would just quickly say for now the next three persons who would come and help deliver the goodwill messages so that you can get ready as it comes to your turn. Following the one we just heard, we would hear from the representative of the ICPC as executive chair, and then that will be followed by the representative of the EFCC, and then we will take on from, I think that would be Aranola Akinyemi, who is from the Africa ICT Alliance, APICTA. So please, in that order, so right now, please help me welcome representative of the ICPC Executive Chair.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm very, I'm caught unaware. But as it is, we are in a very safe environment. I'm speaking for myself. Let me just come to that level. But whatever I say, don't pick it on my boss. I'm representing him. I didn't know where to make any statement. So whatever statement I made, if it's on his behalf, if it's good, take it for him. But if it is bad, please flog me. So with all due respect to the people on the high table, because of this, I didn't go master name and start taking notes. Let me just say protocol delay of self. And I will speak just on the subject matter, cybercrime, digital forensic readiness. What is even readiness in the first place? I have to thank the authors. I've not met the common one, but I know Dr. Sibe about 2 years ago, and we share a common idea. It's made up of a very intellectual capacity that can build and help the nation to grow in terms of digital forensic and other cybersecurity elements. When you look at the book, it's readiness. It affects all of us. The readiness is not how far we prepare, but what are we going to do in order to acquire evidences that we will use in the law court to send the cyber criminals away from our society. We can't chase them away completely. And the government are doing so much. I'm happy with the first person that spoke. I've had some time to be on the committee with that. Nigerian government is doing a lot. So also other security agencies that are carrying out activities on financial crimes, the ICPC, the FCC, the NFIU, we are doing a lot. But we may not come to the public to speak, so we are ready. So that's the first message I will bring from ICPC to the authors. We are ready. And maybe during the time of discussion, we may say more, because I'm going to be one of the panelists or panelists that will come up to talk about this. So we are doing a lot, and we continue to do a lot. So our message is that well done for trying to educate us, coming out with a book that we are going to go through, and invite the authors too. I love that, because nobody will share your knowledge, your idea better than you. We are ready to collaborate with you and learn from you. I think that is the message. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And sorry for taking you unawares, but I think it was good we did, because you still did a good job at that. Please permit me to quickly recognize the presence of Hamza Latif, who is representing the president of Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria, Ade Shoyinka. You're welcome. You know, in those days, when you hear Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria, I'm not sure you will think they are I don't know if you are thinking one, but I think with more cyber security literacy, we are knowing that it is not only those boys who hide in corners that are cyber experts. There are the good ones who do a lot of good work. Also, permit me to recognize Moda Abbas, who is representing the president of Nigeria Society of Engineers. You're very welcome, ma'am. She's a fellow of the Society of Engineers. Up next with goodwill message for us will be the representative of the EFCC. You're welcome, sir. And that is Geoffrey Uzoma Okolori.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I do ask that you permit me to sign on the existing protocol just to save some time. I'd like to say that I really have one-on-one discussion with the executive chairman with regards to his good message. However, I'm aware that extensively most of the information you will get from this book is extracted from our investigation, some of the reports that we have, and the information we provided to Dr. Siwe and the co-author of this book, which has come into form, and we have launched it today. So I want to say that on that basis, I'd like to say that the executive chairman is fully in support. I also got his approval to be in this program to discuss from a technical point of view regarding the digital forensic and cybercrime investigation in Nigeria. So I'll be part of those we'll be discussing today. On this note, I want to say that the author of this book haven't gone through it, and they've done extensive work. I appreciate the resources they have invested in bringing into form the challenges associated with digital forensic and cybercrime investigation in Nigeria regarding financial investigation. I'd like to say that I and Dr. Sibe are very close friends. I think we met a couple of years back, like 3 years back, and within that period to now, a lot of things have really happened. So I'm particularly inspired by this book and the new book that we're going to have a great day today. As a matter of fact, I have been in 3 conferences in succession for the past 3 to 4 weeks. We had the Association of Forensic Professionals of Nigeria had a conference recently, and I was there coordinating that conference. And one of the critical questions I raised with respect to a particular agency in Nigeria is that, do you have a formal document that has codified the challenges of digital forensic investigation in Nigeria? And you can guess what the answer was. So for me, this book provides that roadmap, it provides that guidance, it provides that direction for agencies in Nigeria towards cybercrime investigation and digital forensic practice in Nigeria. So for me, it solves a lot of problems that individual agencies and organizations would have been investing their resources to do. For me, this is the answer. It doesn't mean it provides all the answer in its totality, but extensively. For me, I would say more or less 80 to 95% of the work, or even about 90% of the work, has already been done. So having this document, this book, we just follow it the way it's been outlined in the document, we just provide that roadmap. On this note, I want to say kudos to them, and thank you, and God bless you.
Last but not the least, I would like to welcome a representative from the Africa ICT Alliance to come forward, please. The APICTA is in over 4 countries across Africa. I mean, over 40 countries in Africa. Please, you're welcome, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Angela Kiwe, Vice Chair of West Africa for Africa ICT Alliance. It's my pleasure to be here and to see everyone, considering the importance of cybersecurity to the digital space and everything. So, permit me to take it from my note. So, good day once again, and colleagues, distinguished authors, panelists, and participants. On behalf of the Africa ICT Alliance, it is both a pleasure and an honor to be part of today's pivotal event. The launch of a book that promises to shape the future of cybersecurity and financial crime investigation in Nigeria. Person, please remind you unfortunately will not be present today, and extend Amita's heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Robinson Jumari Sibe, who also serves as a vital board member of APICTA, and Professor Christian Conner, on the publication of the timely and insightful book, Cybercrime, Digital Forensic and Financial Crime Investigation in Nigeria. In a rapidly advancing digital age, the battle against cybercrime has become a critical challenge that demands comprehensive policies, well-researched strategies, and multi-stakeholder cooperation. Nigeria, as we all know, faces unique challenges in this regard, and yet it holds a huge potential for transformative progress in digital security. This book fills a crucial gap in the body of knowledge by offering a comprehensive investigation into the complexities of cybercrime in Nigeria and the preparedness of our institutions in digital forensic capabilities. In a world that is becoming even more interconnected and reliant on digital technologies, this book comes at a crucial time, providing a deep dive into the complexities of cybercrime in Nigeria and the preparedness of our forensic institution to address these challenges. In line with the recently signed pact by the United Nations by world leaders on cybercrime and that emphasizes the importance of cyber security, AFITA remains committed to building a digitally secure and resilient Africa. Today's dialogue is aligned with our vision of ensuring the promise of a digital age for everyone across the continent. We understand the importance of digital forensic readiness, not only as a means of tackling cybercrime, but also as a pathway to enhancing trust in digital platforms, protecting financial institutions, and securing our economies. As we engage in today's discussions, I would like to emphasize the importance of partnerships between governments, the private sector, academia, and civil society. These partnerships are vital to addressing the evolving challenges posed by cybercrime, and I am confident that the insights shared here today will continue meaningfully to drive policies and practice in Nigeria and across Africa. AFITA once again extends its heartfelt congratulations to the authors for their outstanding contribution, and we are honored to support this commendable initiative. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause once again for Madam Araola Akinyemi from the Africa ICT Alliance group. Thank you for being a lovely audience so far. You have made it very possible for us to enjoy a smooth sail. Please be kindly reminded that should you at any point feel like you need a boost, coffee is right there at the back end. Feel free to just walk down and grab a cup of coffee or tea or water, as the case may be. I'm afraid that's the limited option for now. If you want something much more than that, you'll have to wait a while. But we are at a critical point now in the program where I'll crave your indulgence as I will request our amiable general, a request for his indulgence. Our chair is still on his way. He has pleaded for a consideration to be given a little more time as he makes his way this way. But in the meantime, we thank God for the armed forces, always ready and always ready to deliver. So I will crave the indulgence of General A.J. Ahmed, who would step in part, to help with some of the function of the chairman by presenting the book to us. But before he does that, I would also request that you will kindly, also on behalf of the services present here, deliver goodwill message and take it on from there by going in to help us present the book. You're welcome, General A.J. Ahmed.
lucky enough, we are the planners of ambush. So, without following the protocol like was established, I want to recognize the presence of the service chief, representative of the service chief, and all other agencies here. I feel it is a very good representation, and it shows that the value we have by sending the representative, and most of the agencies that are supposed to be here, I'm so happy that they have sent their representative. But it's going forward, I think the representative has a responsibility also to pave the way for the authors to reach out to those important persons, because the book that has been written is just timely and is something that we should pay attention and make sure that it gets the objectives of writing this book. It is, it cannot be more than this time, because cybersecurity is what we are in, and no nation is playing with this. And if we give it, if we don't give it the right attentions, I'm very certain we will not be happy to the outcome. So on behalf of the Chief Army Staff, that have already shown tenacity and is even leading the aspect of cyber security fight, because as we speak, the Nigerian Army is the only institution that have a Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command and indeed the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare School in all Africa. That is to show you the importance Nigerian Army has recognized that the war in cyber security is a war that we cannot run away from. The criminals have already pushed us forward, but we're supposed to lead this aspect. As you are aware, most of our platforms are network-centric. If connected to internet, they can be obstructed. So we cannot sit down until things go wrong before you build capacity. We're already building capacity on this, and I'm happy this book written by the doctor and professor will give us a comprehensive, or near comprehensive roadmap towards our endeavor, to enhance our endeavor. And that is, it is on this note I was tasked to come and represent the Chief of Army Staff. And I believe that he is deliberately selected because of the roadmap it will give Nigerian Army in building capacity. So I want to sincerely thank you and the two authors for taking time to come out to the roadmap. It's a very big gap that exists, and I'm happy that So I'll stop at my good message, and I want to sincerely once again thank you for this effort. And like I emphasize, please let the stakeholders that are here carry the message back. I know we have gap, and ICT is not only for one person, it's for all of us, both the strategic leaders and the grassroots. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, General Ahmed, for indulging me. And my choice of words wouldn't be ambush, because I do not know how I will counter that. So I will choose carefully my words, but thank you for indulging me. I would like to quickly recognize the presence of Abbas Lawal, who is representing Bello Hayatuddin, who is the director for Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team. You're welcome. Please just wave and thank you for coming. Also, permit me to quickly recognize the presence of Rufus Godwin, who is representing the head of the Federal Civil Service. Is Rufus somewhere around, please? You're very welcome, sir. So you know, the Afrobeat legend Fela was famous for a particular song where he said, overtake, don't overtake, overtake. I happen to have, I don't know if it was influenced by that song, but circumstantially, in my bid to, I was so gingered with wanting to bring us goodwill messages, so much that I went ahead of the call. But I would like to take us a bit back to the critical point where I'm meant to also call on our authors who will come and briefly introduce us by giving us a brief presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to invite, as you welcome Dr. Tombari Sibe, who will come and give us a brief presentation on behalf of the authors. Welcome.
Thank you very much. This was done jointly by myself and my co-author, so allow me to get it on screen. And while that is being done, to very humbly thank you all. I don't want to make any mistake in anybody's title as a forensic person. We need to be forensic precision. So that's I will mention some of the agencies that are here present. Beginning is a book launch, so the book launch, the two book reviewers are the ones that will do a lot of the talking that we're not supposed to do this, but because it's a research book, it will be nice if you want to say a word or two about the research. So I'm very profoundly honored to have the two book reviewers who will step forward shortly after this, and the representative of the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Air Staff, the ICPC, the EFCC, the Office of the National Security Advisor, the National Cybercrime Coordination Center. I feel very honored to have you all present, and AFICTA, Cyber Security Experts Association, and all of the other associations and groups that are very ably respected. Can you confirm if my co-author is on the screen? All right. Allow that to be fixed. Just stay by. At some point, you will come in. He was supposed to do a brief opening. He was supposed to be on screen. We will do that. So I'd go ahead to read a few things. I want to stay scripted, so I would not take too much time. Surge in cybercrime has been quite disturbing. By victims of cybercrime, Nigeria as a nation also suffers from repeated efforts by Nigeria's law enforcement agencies. The caseloads continue to grow exponentially. This has left the nation with an unfortunate tag as one of the hotbeds of cybercrime. And this has also further been complicated by the lack of coordinated research on the actual dynamics and complexities of the cybercrime surge in the country. And most of what we know about Nigeria's cybercrime landscape is what is reported on the pages of newspaper. 10 arrested yesterday. They only tell you the end product. This person was arrested, prosecuted, and that's not the full story. So the authors saw this obvious gap in lack of coordinated research on the nature, the actual dynamics and complexities of the subjects, cybercrime in the country. Now, in filling this gap, the authors decided not just to rely on the easy parts, which
scholar on this event. Launching book. I'm doing it for the first time. How many of us? So it's a to me because you always learn. So I consider that as an opportunity to learn. Thank you very much. So Jeremy, like I mentioned, is a field, it's not a new field, but to Nigerians it's a new field. And there is nowhere you can start something without knowing the theory part of it. I'm very certain that majority of us will be looking at the practical aspect of it. But if you not get the theory, you will completely get it wrong. So these interesting Nigerians and very organized experts on the field deem it necessary to sit down and document the theoretical aspect of this field, and it will cut across all agencies. Like I said, if you have time and you create opportunity to go through the books, a lot will be learned. And because the author have told us effort, it took them 5 years. 5 years, starting from 2019. It took them 5 years to go through the rigorous processes of research, taking time to visit all the necessary agencies to get data. So it is work that have been done on our behalf, and you get it at the comfort of your house. By the time you sit down, and the only thing you want is to recognize them and honor them and the effort they have to document these processes. On this note, by the powers confirmed on me, in the absence of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, because this is areas where it is their field. Like I mentioned to one of the audience that this is a field that cuts across every segment. And if one segment is left behind, the gap will show. You catch somebody, I'm sure he has committed the offense, and by the time you go forward, you'll not be able to prove it. So I think from here I can launch the book. So I think we should not do it alone. It's not a military affair. It is a national affair. So the representative of the National Cybersecurity Coordination Center should be here. The EFCC should be here. The ICPC should be here. The police representative should be here. And the chief cybersecurity expert should also join us. Who again? The representative of the National Society of Engineers. The president of the society. And 2 book reviewers should also join up, because I think it's everybody job. Please, those that have not called, you ought to be here, but because of the number, I don't want to fill the high table. You all ought to be here to launch this book. I hope I'm clear. Nobody should call me.
So you just need to switch it. Once it's started. But you don't connect. Okay, what do they connect? Your own thing connected. Okay.
So while that is happening, I will just want to just crave your indulgence, especially all of the people here. When General was announcing you all to come, you didn't know he was setting you up. General, please don't leave, because he was saying EFCC, come. ICPC, come. I was just looking at all of you and you didn't realize that you will come and you will not go back easily. So at this point, I just want to just say, okay, the books, or the book can be found on, can be gotten on Springer, and the current price that is on Springer is a token to about 200,000 naira. It's 200,000 naira. However, what we would encourage is to begin with all the agencies here, that this naturally would be in your library, and we would encourage that as you leave, we would have a register. The lady in white would take your details, and you can let her know how many copies you would want and at what rate it will.
Well, we are aware of the subsidy removal, the effect of subsidy removal, and fortunately, majority of us are representatives of the agencies. Am I speaking your mind? Sincerely, the authors need our encouragement. I wish you are being empowered to encourage him as much as possible. But like I mentioned during my opening remarks, I mentioned that we must find ways, we must create ways for him to get to the right people to support him. Within your capacities as a representative, I don't know what those that have been given sufficient powers should please honor. Should please honor those that were given some sufficient powers before coming, but those that don't have sufficient powers, create ways for the voters. I don't want to ambush anybody. I'm just being sincere. I'm sorry. I would have loved it to go beyond this, but I'm not talking for myself. I can say, I know me, I can buy some. If I don't buy here, my school will buy. But I don't want to ambush everybody. I hope I'm clear. But please, these are books that have been thoroughly written for 5 years. And you have heard the pedigree of the people that wrote these books. And even for nothing, this is a field that we already have the center that where we need to collaborate. So the coordination center, you have to coordinate yourself. And you need to start coordinating what's right here. And this, like you mentioned, this is a way we can start thinking of indigenous tools and many things. And the funding, one critical aspect of what is limiting funding in ICT is that yet there's a mutual or there is cross deficit between us, the ICT practitioners, and those we need to convince. So we must also be sincere as much as we can to carry them along. If you continue to scare them away with the cost, we'll be lagging behind. I hope I'm clear. Thank you very much.
I'll just request, Dr. Sibe, can you advise? Okay. Where people can find the books as well, is there, so that even beyond here?
Thank you very much. The book can be found on all major bookstores around. Unfortunately, not yet in the country. From Springer, the publisher, you can find it by directly yourself. Wasn't buy it here. Amazon as well. Most of the bookshops and Barnes and Nobles is all over the space. We are making efforts to try and get it here because this is the primary audience. This book was written for Nigerians, so we try to make sure it gets here. But unfortunately, the Springer nature is based in Europe, so we are trying to get them to the shops here. Otherwise, we'll
Thank you very much. So please, do not forget, what's your name? Doctor. Oh, that's the other Dr. Sibe in the house. Okay, so please, you must not forget to see Dr. Sibe as you leave. I've been also, thank you very much. Yes, the general has directed that all your names must be written. So, fantastic. You see, Dr. Sibe has brought the more academic way around it. The paper will be passed around and your names will be taken. But I've also been informed that our guest of honor has been able to make it in. So please, without letting him catch his breath, I will just, as we close this part of the program, please help me welcome Mr. Rotimi Oyedepo, SAN, who is representing the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation. Please, sir, we will also crave your indulgence as you step forward to give us the chairman's remarks as we round off this session of the book presentation and thereby get into the part B of the program. You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, the chairman of the occasion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The man on whose behalf we are here today, I must first and foremost congratulate you for the great work that you are doing. And please permit me to rest. I can say that I'm very slim. I can safely rest on a well-established protocol before my arrival. I had discussed with the organizer and I was told to come around 12 and the logistics in the office was a little bit sketchy. So please, I have to tender my unreserved apology for coming here a little bit late. And I also need to apologize on behalf of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice. As we speak, he's currently out of Abuja. We would have loved to be here in person to come and solidarize with you and come and celebrate this very beautiful occasion. Please permit me to just say one or two things. We all know that cybercrime has plagued Nigeria in recent years. So we have to laud and applaud the amiable host, Mr. Tomari Sibe, for this most welcome contribution to the literature on cybercrime, forensics, and financial crime investigation in Nigeria. I am most pleased to be representing the Minister speaking on the impact and the strides the Ministry of Justice has taken in tandem with the Commission in combating financial crimes and cyber crimes related offenses. Very recently, in furtherance of stakeholder education, the National Judicial Institute organized a workshop where we have on the importance of stakeholders working together to achieve our common goal, that is a Nigeria that is free of crime, particularly cyber crime. Our collective presence here today is no different. Mr. Isibe, insight on being visionary as opposed to reactionaries is particularly noteworthy, and I think it deserves another round of applause for this great job that he has done. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Financial crimes and cyber crimes are to be fought to the barest minimum in our jurisdiction. It is not until the thief has broken into a house that we now begin to install CCTV camera, and set it up. But surveillance should already be in place so that in the event that this crime is committed, we will be able to apprehend the perpetrator, because it becomes very easy when we have all the necessary tools to combat crime, particularly the use of technology. So thus far, the Ministry of Justice and other agencies of government under the supervision of Government in general are working continuously to ensure that we fought this species of crime within our jurisdiction. Tools, equipment, skills acquisition, trainings, workshops, among others, are being organized and acquired year-round to ensure that our security agencies are thoroughly prepared to swim in the ocean or fighting this battle to stand still. In that vein, the technical analysis and procedural requirements outlined in the book as a measure to ensure readiness are noted, and those recommendations made by our neighbor author will be considered by government and implemented without further delay. While it's theory-based, some of the experiences shared in the book, it is also commendable that critical actions will be taken against the cyber criminals as outlined in the book. Earlier this year, I am pleased to announce to you that we had a conference on the importance of cross-border relationship in dealing with cybercrime. It is fundamental necessity that these individuals are not only prosecuted, but that they are divested of the proceeds of their unlawful activity. And I am able to say to you that we are not only straining our capacity to investigate cybercrime-related offenses, we are also ensuring that those ones that are extremely difficult to prove and conviction sustain, we are doing everything possible to ensure that we use the non-conviction-based jurisprudence to divest the criminals of the process of unlawful activity, digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and all those assets that are not so common before and that have become the very prevailing way of concealing process of unlawful activity are now being traced in our jurisdiction and forfeited either to the government directly or to the victim of the unlawful activity. So on the basis of the ideas that have been well packaged in the book that was just recently and launched, I want to assure you that we are going to work with the author of the book and ensure that cyber crimes related offenses is fought to the barest minimum in our jurisdiction. So on behalf of Honorable Attorney General, once again, accept our congratulations, and when the book is ready for purchase, I can assure you that the Honorable Attorney General Federation will pick 5 copies for the ministry, and we will see the author. We are not going to make an announcement as to the amount we are going to pay. But thank you so much for what you are doing. We are also there.
Thank you very much, our dear Barrister Rotimi Oyedepo, SAN, for aptly representing the nation's Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Please do extend our regards to him as well. And thank you for grabbing 5 copies now, like we say in Hollywood. So, but during the course of the program, a few more guests came in, so I'll continue. And thank you for obliging me every time I've requested you to kindly recognize the arrival of one guest to another. It's not easy. So thank you very much. In fact, you should please kindly recognize your own presence here with a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. We have had a representative of the special guest of honor for today's occasion who has come in. Kindly help me welcome Mike Imafido, who is representing the Minister of State for Police Affairs, Her Excellency Iman Suleiman Ibrahim. Please kindly welcome Mike Imafido. By virtue of facial recognition, I was able to see him walking, and you would please permit me to also recognize one of our nation's seasoned public servants and politicians who many years ago, he won't remember this, but I actually had an opportunity as a journalist to interview him many years back. But kindly help me welcome Senator Magnus Abbey. You're very welcome, sir. At this point, we will continue to acknowledge the arrival of guests and friends of our publisher, of our authors as they come. But you must let me carry forward by taking us into the part B of this program. Hopefully we're still within time. We are slightly moving behind, but we will try to pace off. This second part of the event is the book review and policy dialogue. And this is where we take it to the next level of intellectualizing it. And to lead us, starting out with a book review, will be Mr. Abdul Hakim Ajijola.
And also, I thank especially the unsung heroes and heroines who have made this event possible. Cybercrime, digital forensics readiness, and financial crime investigation in Nigeria provides a critical research-based analysis of Nigeria's cybersecurity landscape with a specific focus on digital forensics and financial crime. Authored by Robinson Tombari Sibe, Christian Conant, the book offers a much-needed exploration of the significant challenges faced by law enforcement agencies in combating cybercrime, while also identifying gaps in digital forensics readiness. With Nigeria being one of the global hotspots for cybercrime, particularly involving internet fraud, aka 419, the business email compromise, BEC, this book is a timely contribution to the academic and policy debate on how to address these issues effectively. So let's look at what I would say the authors got right. The empirical depth and research-driven insights. The authors ground their arguments in substantial empirical evidence, making the book a credible resource for policymakers and law enforcement professionals. They extensively discuss the lack of digital forensics capabilities, particularly within Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Nigerian Police Force, stating that this study showed that the Nigerian cybercrime investigation agencies were not financially ready to be forensically ready. And if an organization is not forensically ready, their investigative capacity is greatly weakened. And I think this was somewhere around pages 160 and page 190. And this, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, provides a critical understanding or a crucial understanding of how the lack of adequate resources directly impacts the effectiveness of financial crime investigations in Nigeria. Area number 2 that they got right: a thorough analysis of Nigeria's legal and institutional frameworks. This book offers an exhaustive breakdown of Nigeria's legal, institutional, and operational structures designed to tackle cybercrime. It highlights the significant advancements and such as the establishment of the Nigerian Police Force Cybercrime Center in 2022, aimed at addressing cybercrime with greater focus and efficiency. And I think you can find that on page 3. By juxtaposing Nigeria's framework with international best practices, The authors provide a comprehensive view of where Nigeria stands globally and what improvements are necessary. Area number 3 that I believe they got right. The digital forensics readiness model and recommendations. One of the book's most valuable contributions is the proposed digital forensics readiness model. The authors identify a critical gap in both technological resources and skilled personnel, stating, and I quote, most investigators lack the required level of forensic capability to combat the rising scourge of cybercrime. I think this was on page 6. They further recommend the establishment of a
But in a proper society, investigation ends with arrest. It doesn't start with it. And I believe that part of the reason why we have all these challenges, even when it comes to prosecution of some of these crimes, is because the actual tools, technology, equipment, dedication, and commitment is not there to be able to overcome some of the challenges we face. I feel that this effort by Dr. Sibe and his colleague, as ably explained by our book reviewer, would help to bring changes into that sector. I'm very happy to see that the representative of my friend and brother, the Federal Attorney General, is here. And it is important that, they say if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. We hope that the things that are in this book will not be hidden from us. We will actually read it and put them to use. On behalf of myself, my family, friends, and associates, I congratulate the authors. I thank you. There's still a lot to be done, but I believe for an area that is so bereft of works and investigative efforts, this is a very, very good effort, and it should be commended and recommended to everybody. I will take 4 copies at a price I will disclose. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, distinguished. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol. The Honorable Minister of State Police Affairs would have loved to be here, but she's under advisement to take some rest due to the fact that she's under the weather. So sincere apologies. She sends her congratulations to Dr. Sibe and Prof. She's excited about the prospects of the book, particularly because of the ongoing reforms within the police. The Honorable Minister is championing the development of a police reform program, and as part of that program, one of the key pillars is strengthening the technical and operational efficiency of the Nigerian police force. And under that pillar, adopting technology, it's key, and it's one of the pathways that is being driven. And beyond just identifying that, identifying potential opportunities for strengthening resource provision for that component is also being worked on, particularly looking at options around public-private partnerships. The other key part is the fact that a national policing policy is also in the works, and the committee is currently being composed, and we will be kind enough, we will appreciate and be extending an invitation to Dr. Sibe and Prof to be part of that committee that will be developing the national policing policy, particularly the section that would be focusing on these sort of issues around cybersecurity and the adoption of technology within the Nigerian police force. Because the idea really is that we must have a framework for adopting technology within the Nigerian police force instead of operating in silos where it is difficult for these technologies to integrate and to have a handshake. So we want a policy that would ensure sustainability around that. You know, in line with the adoption of technology also, one of the areas that the Ministry of Police Affairs under the ministers that they're championing is strengthening the command and control center. We are looking at further democratizing technologies across all the commands across the federation. Currently, some state governments have adopted that, like the Edo State Government, Lagos State Government, and some other state governments. But again, the idea of commands always coming to the federal capital, or always coming to the force headquarters for certain interventions is not sustainable, and we must democratize access. And the same thing with the digital forensic technologies. It must be democratized to assure that there's efficiency in the system. There is also the Data Fusion Center that is being worked on, amongst other technologies, that is aimed at pulling together all the sort of criminal data within the ecosystem within the policing ecosystem, which includes the NSA, the military, the Ministry of Interior, the EFCC, NFIU, and the whole range of stakeholders that play within that space, so that there is that cross-collaboration, there is that handshake, so that it's difficult for an individual to commit a crime in a particular community and then travel to another community, and it's difficult, and they are not being able to being identified. So these are some of the technology innovations that the ministers are championing and in line with the current conversation today. Cybersecurity is a major challenge, and we have the National Cybersecurity Center, which there is some ongoing improvement in enhancing the capabilities of that center. Even across the West African region and the Sub-Saharan Africa, there is a handshake amongst the policing cybersecurity institutions just to strengthen impact, and also across the globe in terms of collaborations with the Interpol. So it's timely and it's helpful, and we look forward to the opportunity for leveraging this critical resource we're discussing here today to strengthen our national policing policy. Thank you once again, Dr. and Prof, and we appreciate.
Thank you very much for representing the Honorable Minister of State for Police Affairs. When Senator Abe was speaking, he mentioned the approach to beginning things from arrest, I would like to say pre-forensic era. It reminded me of a story I once heard of what probably would best describe how investigations were being said to be conducted pre-forensic era, if I may say. And it just spoke to different services and departments and how they would conduct investigations. And it was said that a crime was committed and the suspects were seen to have run into a bush. And different services were contacted to help find those people. And the DSS came out to say, we assure the whole citizens that, look, these criminals who have run into this place, we are going to fully gather intelligence and we will bring them out. And then they left. The army was said to have come and they said, give us 2 days. And they went in and burnt down the whole bush and said, look, we guarantee you if these criminals run into this bush, you can be rest assured we have taken care of them. We have decimated them and they have been neutralized. And then the police were said to have come and they went into the bush. They said, give us a few hours. And they came out with 2 farmers and their donkeys who confessed that we confess, even though we didn't do this crime, but we confess we are the ones that have committed this crime. Perhaps, I guess that highlights the need for forensics, to put in more intelligence and not just pick up people and arrest them. But please permit me to take us now to the second part of our book review, as I kindly request the pleasure of Professor Adeshina Shodia. Professor Shodia is a professor of computer science and information security. He is the immediate past president of the Nigeria Computer Society and the current chairman of the board of Diplomate Digital Forensic Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria. Please kindly help me welcome Professor Shodia. At the end of this event, I think we have gained what we would ordinarily get in a workshop that we would pay highly to attend. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished audience, distinguished senator, distinguished colleagues, the authors of this book. I will also be serving as the second reviewer of this book. I want to thank the authors for inviting me to serve as a reviewer. Even with the fact that I have been in this profession as an educator, professional, for the past 20 years, I still believe that there are also other wonderful people that can also serve as reviewers. So I want to thank you so much for inviting me to serve as a reviewer of this very interesting book. Well, I've been introduced earlier. I mean, we can just go along with me with the slide that I'll put together. This is the outline of my presentation. I will try and be brief. We'll have a little bit of introduction. We'll talk about the book. We'll look at the structure of the book. We'll also talk about the evaluation of the book. And we'll also talk about some recommendations. We'll talk about some recommendations and conclude the book. Well, about introduction, it's just to also call attention to the world we are today. We are indeed in a new world where technology is shaping everything we do. Technology has taken control. And I want to believe that nobody will say that technology has not had inroad into whatever discipline that we have found ourselves. So, and then, of course, the development in digital technology is also improving, and that is also making more and more individuals, corporate organizations, even government, to adopt technology. Pre-COVID-19, post-COVID-19, we have more people adopting, that have even moved their activities, processes online, okay? And of course, that is also placing a lot of emphasis on cybersecurity, digital forensic. It's so convenient now, the attacker can be even far from Nigeria and try to be perpetrating attack within our infrastructure, within our network, within Nigeria. So computing has been so pervasive now. And that is why these two fields that these authors have looked at, the field of cybersecurity, the field of digital forensic, though they are interrelated, but they are still two separate fields. Well, it is obvious that we still have very few books, especially with indigenous content in these fields. And that is why we want to appreciate our authors again, our brothers, for trying to bring in indigenous content. It's a book that actually, when I looked at, it's a book that is also published, not with publishers within Nigeria, with publishers outside, standard publication outlet, Springer. So I want to thank them for also adding indigenous content into our fields of cybersecurity and digital forensic. Well, crime all over the world is increasing, even in Nigeria. Q1, we had a report that even our financial sector still lost about over $43 billion, And that is the thing we have been seeing, for the past few years. And of course, if you talk about cybercrime, if you talk about internet fraud, of course, you want to say that these are also made possible because of the advances in technology. Well, in the book, when I was reading the book, I got to know, though I've known already, that even the criminals, the bad guys, there are even available free tools, even tools, technology that don't cost more than $20. That was actually expressed in that book. It's available for these criminals. And of course, even perpetrating attack is really very cheap now. They are not wasting or spending a lot of money. Now, about this book, I saw that this book is a research-based book. It is not a book that just combines texts from different sources together. Significant part of this book was was put together by research. These authors actually went into fact findings, and they were able to get good information that can guide us as a nation in moving forward. Well, like I've said, the two fields that we'll look at in this book are the field of cybersecurity and digital forensic. Well, these two fields, we are still developing as a nation. You know, we are not there yet. We are not where we are supposed to be. And a book like this, coming at this time, is really apt, and it's also going to assist us in moving forward as a nation in these two very wonderful fields. And I also want to say that these two people are colleagues in a university, though our own Dr. Sibe is here in Nigeria. His university is in Port Harcourt, but he's also visiting in a university that Professor Canet is also lecturing. So we have colleagues, wonderful colleagues that have worked together and to create this edifice that we are showcasing today. I'll quickly just run through the structure of the book. The book is a 8-chapter book, you know, 8-chapter book. Chapter 1 is only about introduction, calling our attention to the rising rate of cyber attacks. We are all familiar with that. Talking about the efforts made by security agencies, you know, and in that chapter, the problem was also defined, you know, and the problem was premised on the fact that we are now advancing in development, in technological development, you know. So, and with that, it has implication on cyber attacks. We are now in the situation where you don't even need to be an expert, you know, before you can perpetrate an attack. You don't need to be an expert in IT. You don't need to. So, cyber attack is now being perpetrated by both expert and non-expert, you know, and that was also emphasized in the book. He talked about the purpose and nature of the study, you know, trying to see where we are in the aspect of digital forensic, in the aspect of cybersecurity, and also in the aspect of crime investigation in Nigeria. And I also presented some definition, you know, to form the foundation to some of the things that will also be discussed in that book. Well, I will not be going into those definition because I want to believe that majority of us here, we are far from that. So we go to chapter 2. Chapter 2 talked about some historical background, you know, where we started with as a nation. And one wonderful thing about this book is the fact that when a discussion is made about an issue, you know, they will also look at what is happening in the other jurisdiction, you know, other countries, you know, and be able to make comparison. So it's not something, it's not a book that talks about Nigeria alone. As it talks about Nigeria, it's also talk about what is happening in other countries, and we're able to compare so that we can learn from what is going on in other countries. This book in chapter 2 also talked about overview of growing threats, internet fraud investigation in Nigeria. It mentioned the agencies that are involved, the EFCC, the police, and also NFIU and the ICPC, I think, to some extent. But I think the book generally concentrated on the efforts from Nigerian police and the EFCC. So our Cybercrime Act of 2015, though amended 2024, I know it's amended already 2024. And that is why my first reviewer was talking about the fact that the book did not consider the future, you know. But whatever we have now, I think is still very, very good. So the act was reviewed, and some of the things that was brought out in the review, I think they have been addressed one way or the other in the current amendment, Cybercrime Act of 2024. So the authors were able to also identify some gaps from the literature. Then when we go to chapter 3 of the book, that's the chapter that talks about digital forensic, okay? It started by talking about digital evidence. Of course, we know that digital evidence is any digital resource, whether data, files, codes, or sense, anything, any digital resource that has value and is related to the case that is being prosecuted. So he talked about how to gather digital evidence, how to ensure that digital evidence are well handled, you know, because, of course, people from the legal profession, what they normally do first, before they start to look at the fact behind the case, is to look at technicalities. And if you say you have digital evidence and you cannot prove it, you cannot defend it, you cannot show that it's of value and it has credibility, they will challenge you, and whatever evidence you have will be thrown away, even if the fact of the case is there, you know. So they talked about the issue of admissibility in Chapter 3 because it's a major concern. Before 2011, you know, the issue of digital evidence admissibility was a problem in this country, but in 2011 we had our first Evidence Act, you know, I think amended now in 2023, you know, and Section 8 of the Digital Evidence Act of Nigeria, you know, makes provision for the admissibility of digital evidence, you know, as in so all these are also discussed in that book. If you look at Chapter 3 of that book, it talks about best practices, and about 4 principles, you know, were brought out in the book for us to effectively manage digital evidence. Principle number 1, it has to do with, well, ensuring that if anybody also handle digital evidence, the person must be known. It talks about the use of audit trail. It talks about proper management, and so on and so forth. Dr. Sive, I hope I'm saying what is in the book. So the best practices, I think 4 principles were there. When you read the book, I'm just giving you some skeletal information. You have so many serious things to read from the book. It talks about, Chapter 3 also presents digital forensic investigation process. There were about 4 models, 4 frameworks presented in that book, you know. But generally, let me just summarize. It talks about the fact that the first stage is identification, second stage is collection, third stage is preservation, fourth stage is examination, fifth stage is analysis, then the final stage is reporting, you know, and that is considered. But we also have some other models that presented these stages another way, according to the book, okay? Then that chapter also talked about digital forensic readiness of this nation. Is something that was really looked at in this book. In fact, it's the thrust of this book, you know.